We've all failed at some point in our lives, and we probably will again. And I think there's almost an evolution to our failure, and that's what I want to dig into in this week's episode. Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Carre, and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life from a different perspective, and we either learn something new or get reminded of something that we already knew. This week, the episode is called The Evolution of Failure. And I wanted to talk about different kinds of failure and how we sort of evolve as time goes on. So the first type of failure is failing to mastery. Now, my nephew is learning to walk right now. He's just past a year old, and he is at that wobbly stage where he's trying to figure out his feet. So we, stand him up, hold his hips, and he takes a few steps forward to the person that's going to catch him, essentially, and he learns to get his feet under him. Now, of course, he only ever takes a few steps at a time. Sometimes he doesn't even take any steps. He sort of gets up there and goes, whoa, boom, right back on his bum. But it doesn't stop him from continuing to try. And each time he does try, you can tell he's learning something that will help him the next time he tries. So it's almost as if he figures out, hey, wait, if my arms are out, that helps to create some stability. And oh, if I start moving, that creates momentum. It's standing here that's the tricky part right now, but moving is actually easier. So as we practice, or as he practices, he gets better and he learns to master it, and eventually he will run and walk just like the rest of us do. I'll give you another example. My daughter takes piano lessons. So when she first learns a song, she learns the notes and where to put her fingers on the keys. But the first few times you play it, it's challenging and you miss the note or you miss the count. But every time you do it, you learn something. Oh, I just need to move my fingers down here a little bit, or I need to be ready to move this finger to that note, or I need to count it in my head. So she learns something every single time that helps her build toward mastery. And then now, the songs that she was learning a few months ago, she can easily fly through them, and they sound awesome because she's practiced them and figured out how to use those failures to help her move forward. So there's lots of times in our lives where we have to fail to mastery. We have to make the mistakes in order to learn, and then we can eventually master the task that we're trying to do. The next type of failure is failing forward. My friend Sherry and I were discussing this just last week. And this is definitely a term that's used in the improv world, because when you're doing improvisation, you don't have a chance to have a do-over. You just have to say, yep, that happened, and keep moving forward. Keep working with the person who is on stage with you and keep pressing on. And that happens in our lives. It happens a lot. Now, I can tell you personally, there are lots of things in my life that I would not want to have a do-over on. I don't need a do-over for, but they've happened. And I can sit and dwell on that decision or what happened or those actions or that time, or I can keep moving forward. Sure, you collect the information that you've used or learned in that experience, but you essentially take it and keep going forward. You don't have to keep reliving the experience. You don't have to do it again to truly learn the lesson. No, you've been through it. It happened. Boxes are checked. We're moving on to the next thing. And, I talk about the clinic and having had the bricks and mortar business. And, to be honest, there was a lot of things about that I wish I hadn't done, but I wouldn't take it back. I learned a lot of information during that time in my life about myself, about business, about a lot of different things. So would I do it over? Absolutely not. But will I take what I've learned from it and keep moving forward with that information? Abso-frickin-lutely. The third evolution to failure is failing up. Last week, I had the absolute privilege of seeing Michelle Obama speak, and as you can well imagine, She was insightful, thoughtful, emotionally intelligent, and she shared her experiences as the First Lady from a mom's point of view, from a working woman's point of view. And it was a really incredible night. And one of the things she said was that we have to learn to fail up. Now, I was talking about how Sherry and I were discussing failing forward. That was literally on the drive in to see Michelle Obama. And then I'm sitting there and she says, failing up. And it was like, yes, this makes so much sense. Because as I talked about, there are times in our lives where we just have to fail forward. It happened, we keep moving. But sometimes failing forward is also failing up. So I know for myself, sometimes I get stuck in a situation where I think, that didn't go well, I've made mistakes, there was a failure. I have to do that exact thing again before I can level up. I have to master this before I can move to here. But that's just stupid. I'm just gonna say it right there. That is the dumbest thing I've ever thought. Well, maybe not ever, but it's certainly not a good thought. It doesn't serve me in any way. And when Michelle Obama said failing up, it was like all these dots connected for me, because the only time that I can really think of where you need to continue to do things over and over again before you can level up is in Super Mario. I mean, you can't get to Bowser and beat him until you beat the Goombas and all the other little things along the way, but really that's the only time. So let's say I go and speak to a group of 50 people, smaller group, and I might walk away and think, oh, I should have said this, I should have done that, oh, I want to do that again. Well, I don't need to necessarily speak again to 50 people. There's no reason why I can't take the lessons and what I've learned and go speak to 100 people or 500 people, because we don't have to redo the exact same experience before we can level up. We can instead use that experience to help us level up. So if you have been in a time where things have not gone well and you think, oh, I can't go to that next level until I figure this out. Wrong. You can totally, completely go to the next level, because what you're taking with you as you go there is that experience, is that failure, is that knowledge. So sometimes we fail forward, sometimes we fail up, sometimes we fail to mastery, and sometimes these things all work together in a synergistic way. If you have faced failure, and I'm sure you have, and if you have not yet, I'm sure you will. But when that happens, I want you to instead see it as your steps towards success. The blood, the sweat, the tears, the grit that you have earned and experienced along the way that will all culminate to success for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next week for the next episode of Your Delicious Life. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe! Because these emails come right to your inbox on Wednesday mornings. You don't have to search for it on Facebook or YouTube. It'll be right there waiting for you whenever you're ready to watch it. Thanks for watching, guys.